Feel to join this elite group of Disney princesses? Can you believe it?
No, not at all. It's unbelievable. I mean, I look at that girl and I have no idea what I'm looking at. It's really quite wonderful to be a part of the Disney family, and obviously to join the league of so many wonderful live-action princesses, but also so many that have been depicted in animation as well. This is the flagship animation that made Disney what it is.
The problem with our society can be found with Snow White and what's going on with Snow White. We have too many people that don't know what it's like to...
Imagine this, a Disney princess movie, one of the most beloved and iconic fairy tales of all time, turning into the most chaotic Hollywood drama we've seen in years. You'd think a live-action remake of Snow White, the film that put Disney on the map back in 1937, would be a guaranteed hit, right? But oh no, this one has been anything but a fairy tale. Instead, it's unraveling like a real-life soap opera, complete with behind-the-scenes drama, social media meltdowns, and a box office performance so disappointing it's making Dumbo's flop in 2019 look like a smashing success. And at the center of this storm? Rachel Zegler, the 23-year-old actress who is supposed to be Disney's new darling, but is now being painted as the villain in this Hollywood tragedy.
There's been so much buzz about this and about you. What's it like hearing people say all these really nice things?
It's very validating. A lot of hard work has gone into this film, but so much love, truly, speaking for myself and also for the filmmakers behind it.
Now let's rewind for a second. The original Snow White was released in 1937, and it was groundbreaking at the time. The first ever full-length animated feature film, it was a massive success and laid the foundation for Disney's empire. But here's the kicker. Times have changed and so have audiences. Disney's decision to revive Snow White in the live-action format, starring Zegler in the title role, seemed like a no-brainer. After all, these remakes have raked in billions for the studio. Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Aladdin, they were all box office juggernauts. So what went wrong this time? Well, buckle up, because the drama runs deep. It all started long before the movie even hit theaters. Rachel Zegler, fresh off her critically acclaimed performance in West Side Story, was announced as Snow White, and the internet had some thoughts. For one, the casting was controversial from the get-go. Snow White, as described in the original story, has skin as white as snow, and some fans were quick to point out that Zegler, who is of Colombian and Polish descent, didn't fit that description. While others celebrated the choice as a step toward inclusivity, the backlash was loud and relentless. Zegler herself didn't help matters when she tweeted, "Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for the role." That tweet, though now deleted, set the tone for the fiery debates that would follow.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
If the casting controversy wasn't enough, Zegler's own comments about the original Snow White film added fuel to the fire. In interviews, she didn't hold back, calling the 1937 classic extremely dated and criticizing its portrayal of women. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her, she said during one interview. Weird. And just like that, the internet exploded. Fans of the original film accused her of disrespecting Disney's legacy, while others questioned why she would even agree to star in a movie she clearly didn't seem to admire. The phrase "Snow Woke" started trending, with critics claiming that the remake was more concerned with political correctness than staying true to the beloved original.
Like, you get cast for Snow White, and of course, if you are a business like Disney, you are leaning into what the movie Snow White meant to the people that were raised on it. People like me who watched Disney princess movies when the world was okay, and it was acceptable for us to dream about being a princess as a woman and meeting a handsome prince. But oh no, these big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince?
Fast forward to the movie's release, and things only got worse. Snow White opened in theaters with a global debut of $873 million in its first weekend, far below Disney's expectations for a film with a reported production budget of over $270 million. By comparison, The Little Mermaid, another recent live-action remake, had opened to $955 million domestically. Snow White, on the other hand, struggled to find its footing, both at home and abroad. The numbers were grim, but what came next was even grimmer. The movie's second weekend saw a catastrophic drop of 66% at the box office. For reference, this was a steeper decline than even Disney's 2019 Dumbo remake, which had been considered a major flop. And while every film has its critics, Snow White found itself at the bottom of the barrel, literally. Its IMDb score plummeted to 16 out of 10, making it one of the lowest-rated films in Disney's history. Reviewers didn't hold back either, calling the movie toe-curlingly terrible and a mind-boggling mashup of storytelling misfires. Ouch.
Says Rachel Zegler hurt the film's box office with her actions in since-deleted comment. This is the exchange.
But the blame game didn't stop with the critics. Behind the scenes, rumors started swirling that Disney executives were pointing fingers, and a lot of those fingers were directed right at Rachel Zegler. According to industry insiders, her comments about the original film and her outspoken political views had alienated large chunks of the audience. Let's talk about those political views for a moment because they've been a huge part of the controversy.
And you can have that in your persona, but when you come out and the freedom of speech was to condemn the very thing that you're paid to build? Are you kidding me?
During the press tour for Snow White, Zegler made headlines for her unapologetic takes on politics. She posted on Instagram, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace," sparking outrage among conservative audiences. If that wasn't enough, she also tweeted her support for Palestine, writing, "And always remember, free Palestine."
Variety breaks down how after this tweet went viral, the studio was shocked that she would mix a promo tweet with a political statement. As a result, Mark Platt flew to New York to speak with her.
So this tweet reportedly caused major headaches for Disney, as her co-star Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, is a vocal supporter of Israel. According to reports, Zegler's statement led to threats of perishing against Gadot, forcing Disney to beef up security for the Wonder Woman actress. Talk about a PR nightmare. Disney executives were reportedly so alarmed by Zegler's social media activity that they sent producer Mark Platt to meet with her in New York for a one-on-one intervention. Platt, whose son Jonah later blasted Zegler in a scathing Instagram post, apparently tried to explain the stakes to her. The success of Snow White wasn't just about her. It was about the thousands of people who worked on the film and were depending on it to do well. But Zegler, it seems, was unmoved. She refused to delete her tweet and continued to speak her mind, much to Disney's dismay. As the drama unfolded, Zegler's relationship with her co-stars also came under scrutiny. Andrew Burnap, who plays Snow White's love interest in the film, reportedly felt sidelined by Zegler's comments, dismissing the romantic storyline as weird. She even joked during an interview that all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. Ouch. Burnap, who had hoped the film would be his big breakout moment, now finds himself caught in the crossfire of a movie that's being labeled one of Disney's biggest bombs.
You're crying on that stage.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out.
Then there's the rumored tension between Zegler and Gal Gadot. While the two actresses appeared cordial during press events, insiders claim there was little love lost between them. Their political differences aside, Gadot reportedly found Zegler's outspoken nature to be unprofessional. Gal's attitude is that you don't criticize and cause drama for a project you signed on to do, an insider told People magazine. And judging by the frosty vibes at the film's European premiere in Spain, where Gadot didn't even show up, it's clear the two weren't exactly best friends. Meanwhile, Zegler's attempts to salvage the film's reputation only seemed to backfire. In a now viral moment, the actress decided to go watch Snow White in theaters with her friends, only to find the cinema nearly empty. Her friend documented the awkward outing on Instagram, and the clip quickly became fodder for internet trolls who gleefully shared videos of their own empty theater experiences. The trend even got a name: Empty Snow White Challenge.
And everything, I feel so lucky that I got to play something that is so far from what I know and what I'm used to, and I super enjoyed every second of it.
With so much chaos surrounding the film, it's no wonder rumors are flying that Disney is already looking to distance itself from Zegler. Some reports suggest that the studio has canceled her press appearances and is even considering replacing her in future projects. And then there's the legal drama. Zegler is reportedly considering suing Disney for wrongful termination and discrimination, claiming that the studio unfairly blamed her for the movie's poor performance. Whether or not these rumors are true, one thing is certain: the fallout from Snow White is far from over.
Our next guest made her movie debut as Maria in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Now she dumps the sharks for Seven Dwarfs. Disney's Snow White opens in theaters Friday. Please welcome Rachel Zegler. And
so we're left with a mess that's equal parts fascinating and tragic. A movie that should have been a celebration of Disney's legacy has instead become a cautionary tale about the perils of mixing art, politics, and social media. But the real question is, can Rachel Zegler bounce back from this, or is her career destined to be as cursed as the poisoned apple that started it all? Stay tuned, because this story is only just beginning. So where were we? Ah yes, Rachel Zegler at the center of a storm that just keeps getting bigger. But let's dig even deeper into what went down behind the scenes and how this entire situation spiraled out of control. Not just for Rachel, but for her co-stars, the film's legacy, and even Disney's reputation. Because let's be real, this wasn't just a case of bad reviews or a box office flop. This was a full-blown implosion, and everyone involved seems to have left the battlefield bruised.
Did you know, like, was it a secret project when you auditioned for it?
With all of these Disney things, it's like the Marvel, Star Wars,
Right.
Disney live actions. You have no idea what you're reading. It'll say like untitled Disney live action film, and the sides will have different names. It'll say like Amber and Jeff. And so I was reading for Amber, an untitled Disney live action.
Let's talk about Andrew Burnap for a moment. Poor guy, he must have thought he hit the jackpot when he landed the role of Snow White's love interest. Imagine the excitement, a Disney movie, a timeless tale, and a chance to become a household name. But nope, instead of being a stepping stone to stardom, this project turned into a nightmare. Rachel's comments about his character being a weird stalker didn't just rub audiences the wrong way, they also completely undermined his role before anyone had even seen the movie. And let's not forget her casual remark that all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Ouch. How's that for teamwork? It's no wonder insiders are saying Andrew felt blindsided and frustrated by the way things played out. He went from thinking he'd be Disney's next heartthrob to being caught in the crossfire of a controversy he had no control over. Talk about bad luck.
Your family's like a bunch of Disney, like crazy Disney people,
Yeah, they
right?
are,
Including
yes.
your dad?
Yes, my mom and dad's wedding song was A Whole New World from Aladdin.
Wow.
I was bred for this.
Would they take you to Disneyland, Disney World when you were a kid?
I went to Disney World. Truly, like, that was our vacation, our yearly vacation, the four of us, my sister and my parents and I. And they go without us now.
But Andrew isn't the only one who seems to have been dragged down by this sinking ship. Let's shift gears to Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen. If you thought Rachel was the only one making headlines for all the wrong reasons, think again. Gal has her own share of controversies, and they're just as explosive. For starters, her vocal support for Israel has sparked intense backlash, especially online. It didn't help that this came at a time when tensions in the Middle East were making headlines around the world. Then there's the fact that her political stance directly clashed with Rachel's pro-Palestinian posts. Insiders claim the tension between the two actresses was palpable on set and during press events. And while neither of them has publicly addressed the rumored feud, actions speak louder than words. The fact that they barely interacted during the film's promotional tour says a lot. Fans couldn't help but notice the awkwardness, with some even speculating that Disney deliberately kept them apart to avoid further drama.
Totally stable thing for her to be posting, wishing harm upon Trump voters, wishing that we have no peace. And I actually thought she wrote the exact statement, Skylar, that she wanted us to have, like she wished explicit harm.
And let's not gloss over the reports that Disney had to hire additional security for Gal after she started receiving threats. Apparently, Rachel's tweet about Free Palestine was the tipping point, and things quickly escalated from there. According to sources, this put Disney in an incredibly uncomfortable position. On one hand, they couldn't exactly muzzle Rachel without risking a public relations disaster. On the other hand, they couldn't ignore the risks to Gal's safety. It was a lose-lose situation, and it only added to the chaos surrounding the movie.
Literally no clue. To conclude that, and I love Platt's first saying, "You really want to do this?"
Yeah.
I love his first
That's
saying,
right.
"You really want to
That's
do
right.
this?"
Yeah.
I love that.
Now, if you're thinking, okay, but why didn't Disney step in earlier to control the narrative? Well, they tried. Oh, they tried. Word on the street is that Disney brought in a social media expert to help Rachel manage her online presence. The idea was to rein her in and keep her from saying anything else that could stir the pot. But here's the thing. Rachel isn't exactly the type to stay quiet. Even after being coached, she still managed to land herself in hot water. Case in point, her infamous Instagram post where she wrote, "May Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace." That one really set people off, especially in the more conservative corners of the internet. And while she did issue an apology, probably at Disney's insistence, it was too little too late. The damage was done and the backlash was brutal. But wait, it gets even messier. Remember the European premiere in Spain? That should have been a glittering event, right? A chance to wow audiences and generate some positive buzz. Instead, it became another chapter in this ongoing saga. Not only did Gal skip the event entirely, but Rachel also seemed distant and distracted, according to those who were there. The whole thing felt more like an obligation than a celebration, and it showed. Critics who attended the premiere described the atmosphere as strained, with one even calling it the most low-energy Disney event in recent memory. Yikes.
Emotional feelings about Israel and Gaza, I don't care at all. I care a little bit more about Rachel Zegler having like an underlying amount of contempt for the intellectual property.
And then there's the fallout with the fans. Let's be honest, Disney movies are supposed to bring people together, not divide them. But Snow White, it's done the exact opposite. From the moment Rachel started talking about how her version of the character isn't dreaming about true love, fans were split. Some applauded the modern feminist take, while others felt like it was a slap in the face to the original story. And the backlash only grew louder when Rachel doubled down on her comments, calling the prince a stalker and describing the original film as outdated. For hardcore Disney fans, this was sacrilege. They didn't just see it as Rachel criticizing a movie, they saw it as her criticizing their childhoods. And let's be real, if there's one thing you don't mess with, it's nostalgia.
Mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
The online reaction has been nothing short of brutal. Social media is flooded with memes, videos, and comments mocking Rachel and the film. One particularly harsh trend has been the Empty Snow White Challenge, where people film themselves sitting in empty theaters during screenings. It's a visual representation of just how badly the movie is performing, and it's gone viral in the worst way possible. Even Rachel's attempt to join in on the joke, documenting her own visit to an almost empty screening, backfired spectacularly. Instead of coming across as self-aware, it just added fuel to the fire. And let's not forget about the review bombing. Snow White's IMDb rating has plummeted to an almost comical low, with thousands of one-star reviews flooding the site. While some of this can be chalked up to genuine disappointment with the film, a lot of it seems to be part of a coordinated effort to tank its reputation. Critics have called it a smear campaign against Rachel, and there's some truth to that. But at the same time, it's hard to ignore that this level of backlash doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the result of months, if not years, of controversy, missteps, and mismanagement.
Who is the fairest of them all? Apparently it isn't Snow White.
Jonah Platt, whose father helped produce the latest Snow White film, had some very harsh words for star Rachel Zegler.
So where does this leave Rachel? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Some insiders are saying her career is over, at least when it comes to working with Disney. Rumors are swirling that the studio is quietly trying to cut ties with her, and there's even talk of her being replaced in upcoming projects. But let's not forget, Hollywood loves a comeback story. If Rachel can learn from this experience and make smarter choices moving forward, there's a chance she could bounce back. After all, she's undeniably talented. The question is whether audiences and the industry are willing to give her another shot.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. And it's this rat race to constantly be seen and to constantly say things that are like just atrocious because they're looking for attention and they can never have enough of it.
And what about Disney? Well, the studio has a lot of soul searching to do. Snow White was supposed to be a celebration of their legacy, a reminder of why they're the kings and queens of family entertainment. Instead, it's become a cautionary tale about what happens when a project gets bogged down by controversy. Moving forward, they'll need to rethink how they handle not just their films, but also their stars. Because if this debacle has shown us anything, it's that even the most magical kingdom can crumble under the weight of bad press and poor decisions. So, what do you think? Is Rachel Zegler the real villain in this story? Or is she just an easy scapegoat for a film that was doomed from the start? And can Disney recover from what might just be their most embarrassing flop yet? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, stay tuned for more updates. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that this story is far from over.